Welcome back. And as was mentioned earlier in the show, it is Scouts Month, and we're joined by representatives of the Belize Scout Association, or the Scout Association of Belize. And at this time, we have Adrian Pott, who is a scout at the 28th Ebenezer Scout Unit. We're joined by Keslin Lizama, who's a Queen Scout and a National Scout Commissioner, and Marilyn Dawson, who is the National Cub Scout Commissioner. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the celebration of Scouts Month and why this particular time of year and how it is typically celebrated.
So typically we would celebrate just Scout Week, which would start off, just a week before Founders Day, which is on the 22nd. But this year we figured we wanted to do an entire month of activities because the past few years we've found that we've kind of only really made a big hype of Scout Week, and then after that it's kind of down and dead. So we decided to plan an entire month of activities to get our youths more active, to let our communities know that we are still here. Scouts do still exist. So we have all these activities, and they're all youth-led, and they're also pushing us to reach this this big vision, which is Vision 2023, which is a World Organization strategy that they've had in place to kind of improve youth involvement in our countries, and it's also a way for us to become, continue being the largest youth-led movement in the world.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the different units that you have within the scouting movement.
Okay, we can start off with the Cub Scouts. The Cub Scouts range from ages 7 to 11, and then it goes on to the Scouts. It ages 11 and a half to 15, and then it goes over to Venture Scouts. So that's the older ones. That's from 15 and a half to 17. Then, of course, they go into leadership afterwards.
So you deal with the Cub Scouts.
The
you
Cub
have
Scouts.
The babies.
Yes, I do.
You initiate them into the scouting movement.
Yes, we find that many children want to join, but they are quite younger, so they have beavers, but we don't have much leaders as beaver leaders. But we still enroll them into the scouting movement so they get a feel of it, so they know what to look forward to as they progress, as the years go by.
So how is it different working with the Cub Scout unit?
Well,
Obviously you have
there is
younger
a
kids,
difference.
which means more parents are involved, I would imagine.
Yes.
And obviously you have to have a lot more protection for them.
Yes. The leaders plan the activities for the Cubs. It's different from the Scout. The Scouts, they plan what they want to do within the community, what they want to do for themselves, and also, they know God is involved in that also. So we, the leaders, plan for Cubs, and we plan based on their age and the values and principles that we want to instill in them from a young age, so as they progress in life, they can use that as model citizens.
So what kind of skills would you try and get your Cub Scouts to learn?
Honesty, trustworthiness, sharing, fulfillment, most of all in oneself, in the pleasure of doing for others. So we offer service to the community.
Adrian, what made you decide when did you start? And what made you decide to continue if you started before now?
I started scouting in 2007 until now. The reason I joined scouting is because it is very educational, but you have fun. A lot of different principles and things, camps, everything. You meet new friends, you go places, but most of all, the leaders do a good job at what they do.
What has been the favorite skill that you've learned so far?
Favorite skill?
You don't know?
Putting up your tent, making a fire. Those are the things that come to mind for me when you think of Scouts, but it's much more than that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
my favorite skill, yes, is putting up tents and making fire, but when we do, most of all, I like doing the campfire because every group does something different. They bring something different to the table.
So what does your unit do differently?
Our unit, It depends on what type of campfire, because our unit bring all different types of things. We do songs, we do skits, poem, anything.
And you get to escape your house?
Yes.
I'm sure this is a part of the appeal for a lot of young people. You get to hang out with your friends, do things that very few children do at this point, and in an outdoor setting, right? So do you find that's a part of the reason why a lot of people get involved?
Yes, I think they like the pioneering aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's with the knots and the lashings. Yeah. So they are able to build furniture, like chairs and tables, from just the wood that they would find. So if they're ever stuck in the forest, they know that they can survive out there. So we offer survival skills also.
Now, in an age when obviously the major competition is the television and technology in general, how do you get young people to come and remain engaged and not want to be texting or doing so many other technologically driven kinds of stuff?
Well, we use those to our advantage. So if you have the kid that likes watching TV or playing video games, there are now aspects in scouting that are geared towards you earning a badge for that particular area. There's computer science that they could tap into if they're into computers. We use social media platforms to promote many things. So we'll put them in charge of, okay, you like taking pictures when we go to camp, you'll take the pictures and you'll post those and you'll put, you know, the titles and the captions and everything for it. So we try to use those to our advantage. We are very much aware that, you know, we lose scouts to those over the years, especially our older boys and girls. So we try to incorporate all of that. We also understand that, you know, psychologically at that level, they want to be engaged. They want to do and plan. So that we kind of give them that. Here, you want to plan a camp. This is the guidelines that you will do. You plan your camp and you come back to us. Let us know what you have your finances and everything in order, and we'll guide you along. So the movement itself is trying to change to kind of compete with current times. And it's a big challenge globally. And we're trying to meet up with that and see how we could keep our numbers high. And you know, the one thing that we know for scouting is that the entire world motto is to create a better world. And by to achieve that, you have to create better citizens first. So this is kind of where we're headed.
Kathleen, you're a great example of people who get involved in Scouts at a very young age and has kept with it. And that's a part of what the Venture Scouts do, but you're also a Queen Scout, right?
Yes.
Just explain to us the difference between that.
So there's ranking systems within scouting. So the enroll system, you had Advanced Scout Standard, you had Scout Standard, Advanced Scout Standard, Venture Scout, Queen Scout. So the Queen Scout is the highest youth award that you can receive as a scout underneath the Scout Association of Belize. So I went from a Venture Scout to a Queen Scout, and it's kind of, we like to say it's very distinguished because you know it's well known. Everyone expects a certain standard and behavior from you. So. Those are the different ranking levels that we have, and as you go on into the adult section, there are other awards that you're still, granted based on, experience as well as time and effort given to the movement.
So what has made you, reaching this top achievement, what has made you stick with this movement for so long? You started in primary school.
Yes. I had great leaders over the year. I had leaders at, the primary school level that, were my scout leader, then they became closer as your friend. And as you move on to high school, that, leader becomes your mentor and kind of still guiding you along with those scout principles and other values that they have. So I was thankful that I had really good leaders coming out of primary school that kind of stuck me, guided me through high school, junior college, as well as the leaders that teach. They're the ones that kind of really kept me into it because, everything that I did in the back of my head, I just thought, what would Mr. Palma think? What would Ms. Coyar think? Okay, that would be very wrong. Don't do it. And so they kind of just guide you along. And I think the change that it made for me growing up in the activities that I did is what I want to be able to give back to others.
How has it helped you as an adult, as a young adult now? What has scouting and your involvement with Scouts done to contribute to whether it's your career path, job hunting, whatever it is, or even just social interactions with adults now?
Definitely to be a bit more driven and to be, definitely on my feet and prepared for that. You're too young, you're not prepared for this, you're too young, you don't know what you're doing. True Scouting kind of pushed me that I can do certain things and don't let age be a barrier to being able to achieve certain things. And I was very shy, I think, growing up, and Scouting kind of brought that out of me. I was forced to sing at camp, forced to interact, and, mingle with other people. And through the several activities that I've been through with, you know, members from so many different countries, you have a better understanding of things happening in our community, within, you know, the Americans, and even globally, just a different mindset to kind of pull you outside of Belize, but then still keep you humble enough to, you know, appreciate everything that's home.
Now, let's just look at some of the badges that that you are all adorned with. Adrian, which for you was perhaps the so far the hardest badge for you to get, and I guess by extension perhaps the most rewarding?
Okay, I haven't gotten the badge yet, but for me the hardest
He's earned it, but you haven't got the physical badge. Yeah.
the hardest badge for me to earn was for pitching tent, because when I first started, it wasn't that easy. I've argued a lot with my other friends about where this should go and how you should put it, but definitely that was the hardest for me, because everything else was easy: entertainment, cooking, everything.
You get badges for cooking? Yeah. So that's based on who likes your food and who doesn't? Really?
Yes. If it was good, was it well planned? Did you have a menu?
Oh, okay.
That was my least favorite.
Okay.
And your least favorite?
So your pitching a tent badge is what stands out to you the most. Which one are you working hard for right now that you really want to be able to get?
They're working on so many.
I know.
I would like a campfire badge if they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one I would like to work on for now.
Yes, Lynn?
My hardest, like I said, was definitely cooking, because I'm horrible at making rice, and the guys in my group were completely honest about it. So they made me know that it didn't taste good. I think my favorite to work on would have been my first aid badge growing up. I was very much intrigued, and I like, you know, fixing people and fixing things, and that's what I do now for a living. So I think it kind of worked out pretty good for me.
So first aid led you to
yes,
your
first
career.
aid.
And leaders?
And leaders get badges too.
Depends on what aspect you're working on. Right now, I'm presently working on my level 1. That's my 3rd bead. You gain beads as leaders.
Okay.
So I'll be an assistant leader trainer. So I'm presently working on that one, in gaining that. But I love this badge that I have here. This is the environmental badge. I look after the environment. We had to go through a series of things like collecting and recycling. And working for that, I still want to each time I have a bottle, I save it in my vehicle. You can go right now and count how many bottles I have in my vehicle. Like, it's an obsession.
Yeah.
I take the garbage and put it in my pocket. I put it in my purse, and at the end of the week, I would take out those things. But the recycling badge, it sticks with you.
Yeah.
The things that you have learned, it sticks with you. So the children that completed the environmental badge, I know they have good principles and values when it comes to the environment.
So there's, within the process of earning a badge, it's actually living what you have been taught in theory.
Exactly.
Yes. Say lifelong learning is what scouting is. You know, a couple years from now, you may not be with the movement anymore, but there are certain things that you will do, certain little behaviors that you'll have because you learned about it in scouting. So you're not going to be able to walk past a bottle on the street and not want to put it into a garbage bin. You're not going to be able to, you know, see a young boy or girl doing something that, you know, might be wrong without correcting them and, you know, informing them the rationale why I'm telling you this. And so there's a kind of behaviors that you have.
Cooking rice and...
Yeah, and hopefully eventually learning to cook rice.
A fire, yeah, if needs be. Even if just to entertain your kids in the future. So how long is the movement currently in country?
So we celebrated, it's about 104 years now.
In 2009, we celebrated the centenary.
The centenary, yeah, I was trying to remember.
So it's over 100 years.
Yeah.
And how
cubbing. It makes 100 years this year of cubbing throughout the world. So we're looking forward to planning a camp for the summer for the Cubs to celebrate that great achievement.
So you guys are going to have a big year this year. How are we doing in recruitment? Are we still, I mean, it's been going for a very long time. We've seen growth within the association. We've seen the inclusion of girls instead of once upon a time when it was Boy Scouts. How have we seen membership recruitment going?
So recruitment, our numbers have been down in recent years, and so that is why we've kind of boosted our strategies to increase our numbers. The numbers have been down, but at the same time, we've seen more activities being created throughout the year. So we're hoping, we have our own little vision ourselves within our Scout movement that at the end of the year we'll hopefully gain at least 1,000 more Scouts and try to build on that year after year. So we've got a couple strategies within Scout Month and for the remainder of the year that are kind of recruitment drives. So we have during Scout Week, we actually have our invite a friend to scouting, a non-scouting friend, and hopefully they'll stay in the movement afterwards. If not, at least we would have been able to teach some scouting principles, and hopefully they'll pass that on.
Well, let's talk about the activities for Scout Month.
Yes, so this year Scout Month is under the theme of Bridging the Gap, Garnering Success for Tomorrow. And so Bridging the Gap for us, encompasses a lot of things. It's bridging the gap between the adults and the youth in the group, bridging the gap between us and the communities. So we're hoping to work on that theme for the month and carry out all these several activities. Scout Month starts off with, let me use my paper here. Scout Month starts off with the official opening, which was yesterday, and a delivery of the message from the president of Scout Association. Then we followed by Uniform Awareness Day, where we're asking our boys and girls, Scouts and Scouters, to wear their uniforms to work or school and promote the scouting movement.
When is that?
This is on the 10th of February.
Okay.
So we're asking them to just kind of go out, tell us why you like your uniform, what's your favorite badge on your uniform, kind of keep them interested. On the 12th is Group Entertainment Night, where the Scout units will be coming together to plan a campfire or a special activity, one of their choice. Last year, Ms. Marilyn's group, they did karaoke, which was very bad at also. So, you have so many different things that you could do. On the 13th is the District Patak, which will be located here in Belize City, and Ms. Marilyn could give us some insight into Patak and what the groups do.
Okay, that will be on the 13th. That's a Saturday. We're taking over Memorial Park on that day. We have different activities planned for each group. So the Cubs will be undertaking a scavenger hunt, but within the park itself. But the Scout unit, they'll be throughout the city, running around, getting clues, asking questions, getting the participation of people on the street.
So they have a scavenger hunt type
Scavenger hunt, yes.
Uh-oh.
So that would be a fun.
Yes. That would
That
be
would be
very
a fun
interesting
activity.
to see.
And that's the 13th.
The 13th, that's a Saturday.
Okay.
So don't be surprised when you see them running around.
And what time does it
So
start?
if a scout comes to you on
We
the
start
13th
at 9 in the
and asks
morning.
you a strange
Okay.
favor,
And later on, we're going to take them swimming.
Okay.
Be alarmed.
help them.
On the 16th, we've got Community Service Day, and this is, one of the days that we try to get a lot of Scouts to participate, because we're all about being able to give back to the community and, teaching our Scouts that they are, model citizens. So they're talking about visiting the elderly, visiting, a hospital's children's ward, helping your neighbor, just maybe you have an elderly neighbor, you could go out and visit them, sit down and talk to them for a bit. Or we're asking them to, participate in any reading or tutoring program that you might have at your school. Just give your time, for a little bit. On the 17th, we have what we call a good turn day. So a good turn in scouting just means doing a simple act of kindness. So we're telling them, look for something in your, your normal day setting and figure out how you can help someone with something. So if it's making your mom a cup of, coffee in the morning, it's something that you could do. Or helping your friend finish his or her assignment. On the 18th, we've got our Scouts Throwback Thursday. And so what we're looking for here is that Scouts will submit old photos of different scouting events to the association, and we'll post them to our social media platforms. Or they could post it to their Facebook page and just have this one day of sharing all these different Scout pictures. So I'm particularly looking forward to dig up some white-haired pictures of some of our Scout leaders. On the 19th, we have Campfire Night, in which the Scouts again are having a campfire within their units, and we're asking them to invite other youth organizations. So while we may want to promote Scouting, at the end of the day, if a youth is involved in something, doing good in whichever way, we're completely on board with that as well. On the 20th, we've got National Service Day, and this is where we conduct our Scouting for Food. So this is a Messengers of Peace program where we're asking Scouts to go out in their communities, collect several food items, and then they'll choose which organization or school feeding program they'd like to donate it to. And so this is our, a national initiative, and what we do with the results from this, the amount of cans collected, we submit it to the World Organization, and they count our numbers, and these are numbers of community service hours. And so it's just our part of helping out the global initiative to help Scouts create a better world. On the 21st, we have our church service and parade, so we'll be having Mass along with the Girl Guides Association, and then we'll be parading through the principal streets of Belize City. On the 22nd is Founders Day, so this is the day that, the guy, Lord Baden-Powell, that created the Scouting movement. This is his day. So we kind of, our groups have several different activities planned during this time. Scouts are invited to wear their uniforms again if they want to school or work. And then the 23rd is Flash Forward Tuesday. So we're asking Scouts to post, what their future aspirations are. What do they look forward to in Scouting and things that could be changed, kind of giving us ideas of what our general population wants. And then lastly, on the 26th to the 28th, female Scouts and Scouters will be participating in a women's workshop. So our female Scouts, they will take part in this. It's Scouts empowering female leaders with leadership skills. And so we're participating in this workshop, kind of showing our skills that, girls can do it too, and just kind of showing the leadership that you learn in Scouting and how you can help others out. And then there we'll have our official closing of Scout Month 2016.
Fantastic. So there are many activities that people can join in on.
Yes.
And as you pointed out, the individual units will be hosting activities that they can also invite non-Scouts to be a part of.
And where can people get a copy of the activities?
So they could get a copy of this at the Scout office, which is located on St. Thomas. It's downstairs of the old set building. They have a sign outside saying Scout Association of Belize.
And you also have your
Online?
Facebook page.
Yes, we have our Facebook page. We have our Scout webpage as well. There's also our number available in the phone directory.
All right. Well, we hope you guys have a great month with all the activities you have lined up, and that we can get more young people involved in the Scouting movement.
Definitely.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, it's to catch up with Joel McD to find out how we can stay healthy in the flu season. So stay tuned.